guys! So, welcome back to Keeping It Real with the Fish. Kind of messed up the intro thing, but I don't care. I'm sorry if this is kind of blurry or looks foggy. I think I got flour like all over my phone earlier when I was baking, and I don't have any cleaning cloths for my phone nearby and accessible, so we're just gonna go with it and hope for the best. Just pretend it's like a foggy filter or something. I don't know. But I was just out at dinner with some friends, and we went to Melting Pot, and it was the first time I'd ever been there, and it was quite the experience. If you don't know what Melting Pot is, it's a fondue restaurant. And so, you know, it's fondue. And there's fondues and there's fondants. And what you don't want to do is go on a full stomach because you're going to eat lots of food. So come prepared. All I ate today was like a muffin and some cookies. So I was ready for the fondue. So we showed up, and there was like 2 little fondue things on the table. And you can do like this whole like 4-course meal thing. We didn't do the salads because it was honestly extra money and like extra vegetables. And we were just like, save ourselves some money and make our mothers sad. So we didn't do the salad course, but we did do the cheese course, and then the entree course, and then the dessert course. And so you pick like 2 different cheeses, and we picked 2 different ones because there was like several of us, and so we could split it. But we did like a spinach and artichoke dip, and then we did like cheese thing, I don't know, and then we did like I forget what the other one was. Basically just like a cheddar kind of original cheese sauce dip, I don't know, fondue thing. And they were both really good. Well, honestly, I wasn't a huge fan of the spinach and artichoke dip one, only because they used white wine in it, and that flavor was really coming through really strong, and I wasn't a huge fan of it, but it was pretty good, and I could understand why people with more developed and mature taste buds than mine would have appreciated it. So it wasn't bad. I did like the cheese one, was pretty good. And so they gave us like all these little like breads and some vegetables, and what else did we dip in it? I think that's it. I think it's just like breads and vegetables, little like cut up squares, and like you get these like little skewer things, you dip in them, and it's a whole thing. So we did that, and it was super good. And then for the entree part, you each pick like an entree, whatever you want. And so I got the land and sea entree thing, and so it comes like in this little, they're all kind of like, I want to associate them. English is hard. They reminded me of like charcuterie boards. Oh, words are hard. It's super late at night. Anyways, they kind of reminded me of those kind of boards. At least like the bread and vegetable one did, and then later the dessert one did. But the entree came on like this little tray, and so each entree that you had picked came with like several different little options, or you can make your own and pick 3. The one I got had like salmon and shrimp and some kind of like sirloin, and then some chicken breast or something. And so it's all like cut up in like little sections, and each portion is like a little bit. And so it was really good, and it's all cut up in like pieces that you can just kind of like skewer and then dip into the cooking thing. And so for the entree, you cook it basically at your table, and so you can pick if you want like a chicken broth type thing, or you want like an oil. And so I think we had one that was broth, and then we had one that was oil, some kind of like seasoned oil and stuff. So you cook it in that for like 2 to 6 minutes, I think, per piece, depending on what it was. They give you like a little paper cheat sheet with how long to like kind of cook things, because it's kind of like at your own risk, like, hey, this is all raw food, cook this before you eat it, don't mess it up or you're probably gonna get sick. So we did that. We all survived thus far. It's only been like, 2 hours, but whatever. So we did that. It was really good. And they give you some like mushrooms and zucchini and little potato slices to also cook if you want. And then we got to the best course, which was the dessert course. And yes, it was chocolate fondue, because is there anything else? No. And so you can pick, there's like different kinds of chocolate fondues you can get. We got one that was like the original, and it was like milk chocolate and I want to say peanut butter. And then we got another one that was just like a dark chocolate fondue. And so they were really, really good. And they come with little plates for everybody that had like a couple little pieces of little squares of pound cake and some like slices of banana and slices of strawberry. And it came with like a couple little brownie pieces and like little marshmallows and some like praline things, like a couple little Rice Krispie squares, all this stuff that you could dip into it. It was delightful. You could like order some little baby cream puffs and like a slice of cheesecake, like for extra if you wanted to also dip that in, which we did. It was super cool, really cool experience. Definitely bougie, definitely for my life in paycheck income, like a very, very once in a while, once a year kind of treat. But it was super fun to go and experience that. And you're definitely paying for like the experience and everything else. It was super cool. So I'm super glad I got to do that before I left. And yeah, it was totally cool. And it was the first time I'd ever done anything like that. So that was awesome. But alas, here we are. At the end of the night, I did put fake nails on for dinner. I got all dressed up because I rarely dress up anymore. We did some makeup that honestly, not sure if I'm a huge fan of. It's kind of pink to match my shirt, but whatever. We got kind of dressed up. It was a lot of fun. A little like night out with friends. But I am regretting putting these on because these are just glue-on nails. And I realized that tomorrow, I realized this like either during or after I put these on, like right after, that tomorrow I told a friend that I would help them out on like the farm and stuff, moving some like metal and stuff like that. And so it's gonna be like, you know, physical labor, and I'm going to be wearing like work gloves. And these are long, like I don't know if you can see that, but they're not the shortest things ever. And again, they're just glued on, so they're not super stable, but also stable enough that like I don't really know if I can just peel them off very easily, hopefully. But I'm pretty sure I'm probably just going to end up peeling these off in the morning before I go because I don't want to have to deal with them. Because while I have done things like this before with these on, it's difficult because I'm like simultaneously trying to see how much I can do with them on and still be functional, but also trying to kind of be careful. And so I just don't work as efficiently, and everything takes me like twice as long, and it's honestly just a hassle. So they're cute, but luckily they're just glue-ons, so they didn't break the bank, and so I'm probably just going to take them off. Anyways, I digress. I have decided that since I last talked to y'all, all like 10 of you that watch these, pretty sure half of you are family members, which is fine. That's the wrong password. I did write, sorry, I can't get into my iPad. I did write some more poems, and so I think we're just gonna do another little impromptu poetry hour because I enjoy sharing them with the world. And then maybe one day I'll figure out a way to publish them because I think it would be super cool. Even if it didn't take off, which probably wouldn't, it's still cool to have like something of yours published like that or made into like a physical copy. Like if these were all like printed out or something, that would be so cool. Anyways, I am kind of proud of them. And so I like having this as an outlet to share them with the world and possibly get feedback, positive and negative, whatever on them. But yeah, I think it's fun. So without further ado, I'm going to read you one. Did I already read this one to you? That would be super embarrassing. I don't know. If I've already read this one to you, then skip it or enjoy it again. I don't know. I don't remember. Anyways, it's called Self-Love. And I think I talked about it in my last video, one of my last videos. A friend had asked for one about self-love or whatever, and I did end up actually writing one specifically on that, kind of for her and just kind of for myself. But anyways, I'll share it now. So it says, self-love. A friend reached out looking for a poem on self-love, and I realized I had none. Love for myself, that is. Which meant there weren't poems on the subject. Upon further inspection, I decided that's not quite right. I have love for myself, a little bit. And we are going to write a poem about it to remind ourselves of why and how we love ourselves. I love my personality, the spice, the nice, the pure love for others. I love how I will take myself to the breaking point and then one step further to help the people I love, or even a stranger. To be there for them, to support them, to provide the things they might not even ask for. I love my desire and ability to host gatherings and parties, even last minute. I love my ability to plan, just not for the future. I love myself and how emotionally attached I get to people and things, sentimental enough to make some people mental. I love my hair and all the crazy things it does. I love my eyes and the way they communicate feelings I try to hide away, how they sparkle with tears and with laughter. I love my wild imagination that's able to create alternate realities of what-ifs and dreams of the future life I will have. I love my loyal and empathetic tendencies that lead me to be the one person people can turn to, even on their worst days, especially on their worst days. I love myself and how I coach others on their lives, relationships, etc., with words wiser than I thought possible. It's too bad coaches don't play. Self-love is something I often think I'm lacking in, but perhaps I simply try not to acknowledge it. Instead, I cling to the things I hate, the things I want to change, the things I've decided are all the reasons I'm still alone. I hate how my body looks, the shape of it, the amount of it. I hate how my jealousy takes over my rationalizing abilities. I hate how I can't make decisions. I hate how clingy I am, how needy I am, how weepy I am. But I love how deeply I feel things, how immensely deep I feel every emotion. From the ends of my hair to the strings of my heart, down to the tips of my toes. I feel it all. Love, anger, sadness, love, empathy, jealousy, love, trust, worry, love, self-love. I have it. I just needed reminded that as hard as I love others, perhaps I should put a fraction of that effort into loving myself first, into recognizing that I myself am worthy and deserving of love. So that was that one on self-love. Yeah. And then when I was talking to my therapist about it and it kind of like shared it with her, she mentioned that I should write one just on that little phrase, coaches don't play, which is actually a phrase, I don't know where I picked it up from, but I say it with my friends a lot. Whenever somebody kind of comes to me, just talking about how they're doing or perhaps seeking advice or just not really knowing what to do, and I share some advice that I might have or wise words that I pull out of thin air. And I've been told before, like, Hannah, like, how do you know so much? How are you so wise? Because a lot of times the things that they're going through are things that I haven't gone through personally, or I have no prior knowledge or expertise on at all. And they're like, you know, how do you have such good advice? And I always just say, you know what they say, coaches don't play. And I think that's kind of just my way of talking about like in sports and stuff, the coaches are always cheering on and leading and teaching the players, but they don't play themselves. And I think even sometimes they've never played, but also a lot of times I think coaches are past players or they played at some point in their life. But anyways, I digress. I wrote the poem about coaches don't play, and so I'm going to share that with you. Coaches don't play. There's people that you meet that have little to no experience, yet all the advice. They've never been in a relationship. They're several years younger than you. They've never had to go through what you've gone through, etc. But when you go to turn with your problems, they're there with a word of advice, a small piece of wisdom, a few wise words that seem as if they've came from someone who has been there, done that, got the t-shirt. But everyone knows coaches don't play. Perhaps they've read articles or stories on the subject. Perhaps they've seen social media posts that influence their wisdom. Perhaps they simply speak from the heart with wise things they one day hope to adhere to themselves, should the occasion ever arise. Coaches have some knowledge on the subject, they just haven't played the game. But note that the coach often does dream of one day being a star themselves, of scoring the winning touchdown, of scoring the last goal, of making the first home run of the season. It's strange even to the coach how they got so wise. It's surprising how many grown-up thoughts can be had by someone living in a childish world. Being the coach is a catch-22. You know too much, do too little, and yet say just the right thing. Coach is the one friends can turn to when they don't know what they think, they don't know what to do, but coach is looking for their own advice too. That was it. I might not be finished with that one, but we'll see. We're finished for now. It's late. I got not nearly enough sleep. See, words are hard. I did not get nearly enough sleep last night, as seems to be habitual for me at this point in time, but I'm getting up very early in the morning, so alas, I bid you good night.